All right, guys, welcome back for another track guide this week from Circuit de Barcelona, historical layout. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So for the track guide this week, this is not my best time so far, but it is the tightest and probably the line I'm going to take in the race. The brake bias and all that, I've run it a little bit further back as I do on most setups. Now I was running it forward, it tends to get you a little bit more stability, but now that I've got a little bit more control over the car, after doing a few seasons, I find a lot more rearward brake bias helps me as I can brake later into the corners, get a better run. Yeah, so I can't really help you out with an exact brake bias, as this is an old Jamie setup, but once he brings out the proper one, I can sort of have a chat to anyone that wants to know what I'm running. I did a 143.5 this week. I can go a little bit quicker than that, probably about another 2 or 3 tenths off that one. I've done in practice by myself, but this lap was quite tidy, and the line, as I said, I'm going to take, and I think is the quickest. All right, so I'll jump into it here. I'll just get rid of that one. So come down the main straight here, guys, all the way up into sixth gear. So you got your markers as usual on the left side coming up to the corners. Just after the 200, where are we? Right here. So you got your 200 here. You got this funny little mesh thing in the fence here, and then you got 100 down here. About here is where I start to brake in a straight line, hard under brakes, quite quick down through the gears, all the way back down to second, as you see here. Quite quick down through the gears. So all my braking, all my downshifting's done by this point. And then I'm siding the corner and then trailing off the brakes as usual, and more of a mid apex into this one, into the first corner. And there's a little yellow sausage curb here. So I'm trying to get my car across and just onto that sausage, or just nicking that sausage curb for the best line through the first corner all the way back down to second. So we are in second here, back down to second. As you can see there, coming into the corner, I've got my braking done, trailed off, sided my sausage curb, got my line, and then I'm getting back on the accelerator just that little bit, just to keep the momentum through the mid part of the corner, and to get, well, once you're back on the accelerator there, you're in the mid part of the corner, you're getting through, you're like, okay, car's stable, and you're already on the accelerator, so you can accelerate out as hard as you can, just practicing with that, how hard you can accelerate out of here without losing the arse end. It's coming out here, you don't want to drift all the way across to the left here, you want to stay more mid-track in second, just so you can set up the next left-hander, pretty much exactly like this corner here, so more of a mid-apex. So coming in through here, shifting third. So as you can see, I'm already on the accelerator coming out of there, and it's pretty much revving out, not revving out, but in the higher rev. So I shift third just to keep a bit of stability, and then hitting your mid-apex again and accelerating out of here in third. Coming out, staying more mid-track to set up this next right-hander. So I'm up into, let me have a look. So I'm up in third here. I was shifting fourth, but I found it tends to get a little bit of understeer coming into the corner. So I hold third and then just slightly let off the accelerator. As you'll see it in the telemetry, now that I've finally got the telemetry up and running, you can see how much I'm accelerating and just letting off coming into this corner. So holding third. So I've completely let off there, but as you can see, as I start coming back across to the curb there, I'm getting back on the accelerator, just keep the stability in the car and to keep that mid-corner speed again, once again. So holding third all the way around here and till I get the car completely around the corner. Accelerating out, try not to accelerate out too early. I found about here's probably about right, but if you accelerate out too early, it feels like you're going quicker, like you're getting back on the gas, but you're actually sliding sideways rather than going forward. So just keep that in mind, guys. Coming out of here, once you've come out of here, you got the grip. You're not sliding too far sideways. Shift fourth and using all the track. As you can see, the Arsene wants to tweak around a little bit there. You can you can feel it through your steering wheel. It starts, but you can just sort of feather your accelerator. Just you get that feeling through the car, like it wants to keep coming around like this. That's when you like just letting off the accelerator just that little bit. You're still on it, but you're just playing with it a little bit just to keep that arse end under control. All right, so using all the track coming out of here, I'll stop dribbling shit. Um, yeah, using all the track here. You can go out onto this green bit here, guys. Just don't drop your right hand or your inside tyres outside the curb there. You will get a penalty, pretty much with all the corners there. As long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. So coming down to this next right-hander, to keep it short, this curb on the left here goes red, white, red, white, red, white. Just before the overpass here, it starts going yellow, black, yellow, black. That pretty much where it changes, or right on where it changes. That's where I get off the accelerator and on the brakes. Coming into this next right-hander, I got a little bit of understeer. I got a little bit excited. I was up on my time, so I tend to get a little bit of understeer, but it's still the same line that I will be taking in the race. So coming down here, guys, I'm in fourth here. Fifth, sorry. I go back to fourth, back to third. Sorry, I'm in fourth. Back to third, back to second through for this one. I was holding third all the way through here. But once again, it was getting a bit too much understeer. I find if you can hold a higher gear through a corner, you'll get a quicker time. But like I said, I'm a bit of a later braker, so it tends to shoot you into the corner. And then if you're trying to hold that one and get back on the gas, it tends to understeer out of the corner, or what I've found. Let me know if I'm wrong. So, yeah, like I said, back to third, back to second into this one. You're on the brakes and you're heading more here. You're not sort of staying out here, which sort of goes against my braking technique of holding it straight. You probably could, but I found holding it through here and then trying to come in, just the way the corner's shaped and everything, I was just losing too much time. So I've had to sort of readjust it to come sort of more through here to get your braking done and then coming into your sort of early to mid apex. It's coming in, as you can see there, just getting a little bit understeer, holding in the control there. I'm in second here and just trying to hug my curb on the right there once again until I'm completely around the corner. I can see the exit of the corner and you judge that line. You can sort of see where your exit is, judge it so that you're going to come out and use all the track on the exit. I don't think I do completely here, which I could probably adjust on my thing. As you can hear, I hit short shift third. So I'm at about 3/4 revs, but then I short shift third just to keep a bit of stability out of this one. As you can see, the Arsene wants to come around, but with that higher gear, it's a little bit more manageable without losing the Arsene. So just keep that one in mind there, guys. I'm using a lot of I try to use the complete, like all of the track coming out of that one, but I'm keeping in mind that I have to come back across here as early as possible just to set up this next one. With this next left-hander, just keep in mind it is a downhill. So I got VR, as anyone should know by now. I came down this corner in practice and I went onto the dirt here and just spun out on purpose and then faced back up this way just to see how the track was. So I can sit there and do this and look in VR and see if there's a downward slope, if there's any camber. This corner sucks ass. So I was sitting right in the mid part there. It's completely downhill, more than what you'd think. Downhill all the way around the corner and then downhill coming out of the corner. And as you're coming down the hill, you're coming around the corner like that. This part's off camber as well. So this can be a corner that's going to be very tricky. But I found at this little dirt patch here, that's where I get off the accelerator and get back on the brakes. Just that little bit earlier. So once again, all the way over to the right-hand side of the track and getting all your braking done before the corner. Yeah, just so that you're not understeering into the corner, and you can come over and hit your left curb nice and tight. As you can see there, all the way back down to second, coming across mid-apex, touching the curb there. As I said, you can use all of this over here if you need to. Just don't drop your inside tyres, your roadside tyres, I suppose, outside the curb. So coming around, getting a good hard run out of here. Once again, using all the track, much as you can through here. Now this one is another one. I sat there in the VR. I went through here, sat right here on the corner. This one I was getting a lot of, I was coming into the corner, coming through it, and then the car was drifting out towards the other side of the track a lot more than what I thought it should. So I was sitting there and I was having a bit of a look. So the track comes in like this, comes around, and then cambers off towards the right hand side of the track. So just keep that one in mind as well, guys. You sort of really got to brake longer into the corner and really square it up coming into the corner, just to get a good run out of there and that you're not drifting too much to the right. I got a decent run through on this one, but I went on to Blimpcam as well and had a bit of a look at the angle of the corner and how it is, and sort of figured it out from there. But coming into this one, guys, back down to second, hugging that as tight as you can, short shifting into third, coming out of there. As you can see, it wants to twitch out of there because it has got that camber coming off the road there onto the right hand side of the track. So coming up the hill here, pretty much at the end of the curb here, I get off the accelerator, and noticeably on the brakes first, and then shifting back to third in for this next right-hander, and I'll show you here. It's coming up the hill, off the accelerator there, back to third, and then coming across and hugging that, just missing your sausage curve here. So get your tyres up there, just missing the sausage curve, and come right around here. I got on their gas a little bit early for this lap. But this is still the line I'm going to take, but just I got on there a little bit early and drifted too far out, and I did get a little bit of a penalty here. So once again, just make sure your tyres are on the track, not on the other side of the curb, as you'll see here. So I drifted out here because I got a little bit on it, and just there, that's a penalty. So just keep that one in mind as well, guys. It's coming down to this one. This can be a little bit of a tricky one. I was braking way back here. I have no idea why, but I can brake all the way up to 100 now, as long as I'm in a straight line and coming across. So I don't try to brake in a straight line for this one and then really late apex it. I brake in a straight line and sort of more early apex it, and then try to hold the curb. On this one, I drifted out a little bit wide, which doesn't really matter too much, but I make sure that I come in and get that earlier one, just so I can get that curb nice and tight, and then just power out of it. So coming all the way back down here, all the way back down to second once again, and as you can see there, an earlier apex. I started trying to get off the accelerator and get back on it too early, which drifted me out, which is not a bad thing because this is a big, long left-hand sweeper. Just watch when you come in here and you've got all your braking done, you're turning, you're about to accelerate out. Just watch the arse end, as this is a big sweeper. It's not entirely off camber, it's pretty flat, but the arse end just wants to tweak out. And then once you think you're straight, you get on the gas, it wants to go a little bit more. So just keep that in mind as well, guys. It's coming all the way out of here in second, up into third. Ooh, let me go that again. Up into third, and holding third into this next corner. So for this next right-hander, this curb on the right here, sort of is my brake marker. I sort of go pretty much on or just before that curb on the right. I think on this one I went on the curb and sort of started to get a little bit of understeer coming in here, but this is still the line I want to take. Once again, I tried to stay over here, but it might be something I'm going to look at in the practice, but for the moment I'm sort of coming more mid-track coming into this one and getting more of a mid apex turn into this one, as you'll see here. So off the brakes, start to get a bit of understeer going into there, coming across mid corner, hitting the curb, keeping it nice and tight once again until you're all the way around the corner, and then getting back on the gas nice and hard. With that one, I've found it is pretty much a hairpin. It goes all the way around. So you're coming in and you're coming around, you think, oh, now's when I'm going to accelerate, which gets you out too early and you end up shooting out across the track, or you have to get off the accelerator so you don't get that really good run out. So just make sure you completely all the way around. A lot of these corners that are hairpins, make sure you're all the way around and you can sight your exit before you start getting on the gas. So just keep that constant acceleration all the way through the corner to keep that mid corner speed, but just spot your apex and then start getting on the gas on the exit. It's coming all the way through here into the second last corner. So as you can see, I'm using all the track here, guys. This one down here, I'll just pause it down here. I am up into third here. So I'm holding third into this corner. I'll just go a little bit more. So as you come across, so you're using all the track here, you're coming across, and I was going as close as I could to these witches hats. Doesn't quite work. So you want to stay at just that little bit. You want to duck your right hand wheels just inside that curb there. That won't get you a penalty. If you go a little bit further over, it gets you a penalty. So I was trying to take as much of that corner out as I could. Yeah, it was getting me a penalty. So if you just duck your right hand tyres just inside that curb, you should be sweet. But getting off the gas, just a little bit of braking just to get the arse end to come around, because I run a lot of rearward bias. So just getting it in there, just so you can get the arse end coming around, and then spotting your apex and just booting it out of this corner, using all the track once again. So really getting a good cut. We'll do that in real time through there. So yeah, using all the corner there, coming down and just really cutting that corner. It's more of a late sort of squaring off the corner. I found a lot of to square off a lot of corners pretty much on every track. I try to square off the corner, get a later turn into them as much as possible. I found that sort of tends to get you a lot of time on your best time if you can square the corner off a bit more. It is really hard to do without losing the front end sometimes, but I suppose that's part of just learning to go a bit quicker, I suppose. But that's what I've found anyway. So coming down to the last corner, once again, using all the track here, just keeping my tyres just inside the curb here. Don't want to hit this sausage curb on the left. Pretty much at the end of the sausage curb here, or just before or just on it, I'm off the accelerator and I'm holding third. I go back to third, sorry. So I'm up into fourth here, end of the sausage curb, off the accelerator, on the brakes, once again, noticeably on the brakes before I go back to third. Third gets me across and nice and tight on this curb, more of a mid to late apex on this curb, and then a short shift into fourth to get that run onto the straight, as you'll see here. So back to third, nice and tight on that curb, short shifting fourth, and then booting it out of there. As you can see there, so with this run, I have got my tyres slightly inside there. It must be mid curb here, which is the penalty. You can't drift it in too far, because this didn't get me a penalty. So I know it must be different for every corner, but this run here, this line that I've done here, didn't get me a penalty. So you can use a lot of the track guys coming onto the main straight here, and then just booting it through and onto your main straight, getting a good run out of that corner, so that you're not got someone up your ass coming into the first corner, which I think is going to be a really big braking, overtaking area into that first corner. So that's another track guide, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions? Leave whatever your questions are in the comment, or just message me on Discord. But I hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a thumbs up or subscribe, and can't wait to see you in the race. Cheers, guys.